James, tell me about We Are Childfree. What's the thinking behind it?
This is a community run by me and my wife, Zoe. We are for child-free people, mostly by choice, some by circumstance. And we started off as a small portrait project, shining a light on people who don't often get celebrated. And we're here to support and celebrate the lives of folks who've chosen not to have children.
Okay, but then how does that extend to child-free spaces? What are your thoughts on that? Do we need more cafes or pubs that have areas that are child-free?
I think what we're seeing in certain countries is supply meeting demand. What's interesting, you mentioned France, and what's interesting there is that when they survey people, 54% of people want more adults only spaces. And we know that around 20 to 25% of the population are non-parents. So there is clearly demand for adults only spaces. And that demand is partly coming from parents who have lots of valid reasons for needing a break from their children.
James, a lot of people are getting in touch. Elaine is one of them, saying she thinks it's more about parenting. The French teach their kids how to behave in public. We don't do that sometimes. She then goes on to say the same with dogs. I don't want to compare kids to dogs just now. But James, do you think this is more of a parenting issue?
I think it might be, actually. I travel around a lot and spend a lot of time in Greece, and the way they have kept the kind of the village that's raising the child going, and they live intergenerationally, and there you can see there's more tolerance for other people's children. That is great, and I think that's what we should be aspiring to. In France, where a lot of this discourse is coming from and a lot of the research, around 3/4 of people would express a kind of dislike for how other people's children behave or how they raise their children. And we're such a small minority in the population. That's coming from parents looking at other parents. And I think as society becomes less community minded and more atomized, I think we're seeing both, yes, a reaction from some people who may just not like children, but also from parents who are judging other parents. And I think that kind of conflict and that kind of desire to isolate off and become independent and lose that community, I think that is a tendency that we need to get away from.
James, as someone who's founded We Are Childfree, and you explained what We Are Childfree stands for, given the choice, let's say you wanted to go for a drink, I don't know if you're a drinker, but let's say you wanted to visit a pub or a cafe, would you choose a child-free one over one that permits children?
Personally, I wouldn't. I don't care. I like kids. I have kids in my family. I love being an uncle to them. I think in Britain, we have this great pub culture that is very family friendly. And when I go to a place, I don't even check whether kids are permitted or not. Now, of course, there are people in my community who have valid reasons for being uncomfortable around children. Maybe they are neurodiverse and they have a lower tolerance for kind of the noise and the mess. Maybe they have just had a miscarriage. And I think it's fine for those people to seek out spaces where children aren't going to be, just as they may seek out spaces that happen to be quieter or different for whatever reason. But I don't think that it's a problem if we have spaces that are adults only. We've always had them. When it comes to hotels and resorts, we've had them since the 1970s. And actually in France, they make up kind of 3 to 5% of all of French tourism. So when French politicians and media talk about this kind of boom of child-free spaces, I don't think that reflects the reality of what's happening on the ground. I think there may be a few more campsites and hotels that accommodate different experiences, but that's quite a far cry from this idea that we are banishing parents and children from public spaces. Like, that just isn't happening.
James Noble, co-founder of We Are Childfree.